Namaste, Dhanava Pranam. By the instruction and grace of our spiritual master, Om Vishnu Pad, Paramahamsa Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj, we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 2, The Cosmic Manifestation, Chapter 9, Text 37. Text 37. Etanmatam samithista paramena samadhina bhavan kalpa vikalpeshu navim huyati karhichit. O Brahma, just follow this conclusion by fixed concentration of mind, and no pride will disturb you, neither in the partial nor in the final devastation. Purport. As in the Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, has summarized the whole text in 4 verses, namely Aham Sarvasya Prabhava, etc. So the complete Srimad Bhagavatam has also been summarized in 4 verses as Aham Eva Sam Eva Agre, etc. Thus the secret purpose of the most important Bhagavat conclusion has been explained by the original speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, who is also the original speaker of the Bhagavad Gita, the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. There are many grammarians and non-devotee material wranglers who have tried to present false interpretations of these 4 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, but the Lord himself advised Brahmaji not to be deviated from the fixed conclusion the Lord had taught him. The Lord was the teacher of the nucleus of Srimad Bhagavatam in 4 verses, and Brahma was the receiver of the knowledge. Misinterpretation of the word aham by word jugglery of the impersonalist should not disturb the mind of the strict followers of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the text of the personality of Godhead and his unalloyed devotees, who are also known as the Bhagavats, and any outsider should have no access to this confidential literature of the devotional service. But unfortunately, the impersonalist, who has no relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sometimes tries to interpret Srimad Bhagavatam by his poor fund of knowledge in grammar and dry speculation. Therefore, the Lord warns Brahma, and through Brahma, all future devotees of the Lord in the disciplic succession of Brahma, that one should never be misled by the conclusion of the so-called grammarians, or by other men with a poor fund of knowledge, but must always be fixing the mind properly via the parampara system. No one should try to give a new interpretation by dint of mundane knowledge. And the first step, therefore, in the pursuance of the system of knowledge received by Brahma is to approach a bona fide guru who is the representative of the Lord following the parampara system. No one should try to squeeze out of his own meaning by imperfect mundane knowledge. The guru, or the bona fide spiritual master, is competent to teach the disciple in the right path with reference to the context of all authentic Vedic literature. He does not attempt to juggle words to bewilder the student. The bona fide spiritual master, by his personal activities, teaches the disciple the principles of devotional service. Without personal service, one would go on speculating like the impersonalists and dry speculators, life after life, and would be unable to reach the final conclusion. By following the instructions of the bona fide spiritual master in conjunction with the principles of revealed scriptures, the student will rise to the plane of complete knowledge, which will be exhibited by the development of detachment from the world of sense gratification. The mundane wranglers are surprised that one can detach himself from the world of sense gratification, and thus any attempt to be fixed in God realization appears to them to be mysticism. This detachment from the sensory world is called Brahma Bhuta, stage of realization, the preliminary stage of transcendental devotional life, Para Bhakti. The Brahma Bhuta stage of life is also known as Atma Ram stage, in which one is fully satisfied, fully self-satisfied, and does not hanker for the world of sense enjoyment. This stage of full satisfaction is the proper situation for understanding the transcendental knowledge of the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.20 affirms this. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogata bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Thus, in the completely satisfied stage of life, exhibited by full detachment from the world of sense enjoyment as a result of performing devotional service, one can understand the science of God in the liberated stage. In this stage, full of satisfaction and detachment from the sensory world, one can know the mystery of the science of God with all its confidential intricacies, and not by grammar or academic speculation. Because Brahma qualified himself for such reception, the Lord was pleased to disclose the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam. This direct instruction by the Lord to any devotee who has detached from the world of sense gratification is possible, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti. Unto the devotees who are constantly engaged in the Lord's transcendental loving service, pritipurvakam, the Lord, out of his causeless mercy upon the devotee, gives direct instructions so that the devotee may make accurate progress on the path of returning home back to Godhead. One should not, therefore, try to understand these 4 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam by mental speculation. Rather, by direct perception of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is able to know all about his abode Vaikuntha, as was seen and experienced by Brahmaji. Such Vaikuntha realization is possible by any devotee of the Lord situated in the transcendental position as a result of devotional service. In the Gopala Tapani Upanishad, a Shruti, it is said that Gopa Vesho Me Purusha, Purushastad Avirbhabhuva. The Lord appeared before Brahma as a cowboy, that is, as the original personality of Godhead, the Lord Sri Krishna, Govinda, who is later described by Brahmaji in his Brahma Samhita 5.29. Chintamani prakarasad mashu kalpa vriksha laksha vruteshu surabir abhipalayantam lakshmi sahasra sapasad brahma seva manam govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. Brahmaji desires to worship the original personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, who resides in the topmost Vaikuntha planet known as Goloka Vrindavan, where he is in the habit of keeping Surabhi cows as a cowboy, and where he is served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune, the gopis, with love and respect. Dhanyavad pranam, Devi. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam, Didi.
Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna is the original form of the Supreme Lord, Krishnastu Bhagavan Svayam. This is also clear from this instruction. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna, and not directly Narayan, or the Purusha avatars, which are subsequent manifestations. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam means consciousness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the sound representation of the Lord, as much as the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam is the sound representation of the Lord, as much as Bhagavad Gita is. Thus, the conclusion is that Srimad Bhagavatam is the science of the Lord, in which the Lord and his abode are perfectly realized. Text 38. Shri Shuka Uvacha Sampradishayabham Ajno Jananam Paramestinam Asyatas Tasyata Rupam Atmanonyarunadari. Shukadev Goswami said to Maharaj Parikshit, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, after being seen in his transcendental form instructing Brahmaji, the leader of the living entities, disappeared. Purport. In this verse, it is clearly mentioned that the Lord is Ajana, or the Supreme Person, and that he was showing his transcendental form, Atmano Rupam, to Brahmaji while instructing him in the summarization of Srimad Bhagavatam in 4 verses. He is Ajana. He is Ajana, or the Supreme Person amongst Janam, or all persons. All living entities are individual persons, and amongst all such persons, Lord Hari is supreme, as confirmed in the Shruti mantra, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitanam. So there is no place for impersonal features in the transcendental world, as there are impersonal features in the material world. Whenever there is Chaitana or knowledge, the personal feature comes in. In the spiritual world, everything is full of knowledge, and therefore everything in the transcendental world, the land, the water, the tree, the mountain, the river, the man, the animal, the bird, everything is of the same quality, namely Chaitana, and therefore everything there is individual and personal. Srimad Bhagavatam gives us this information as the supreme Vedic literature, and it was personally instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to Brahmaji, so that the leader of the living entities might broadcast the message to all in the universe in order to teach the supreme knowledge of Bhakti Yoga. Brahmaji, in his turn, instructed Narada, his beloved son, the same message, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Narada, in his turn, taught the same to Vyasadeva, who again taught it to Shukadev Goswami. Through Shukadev Goswami's grace and by the mercy of Maharaj Parikshit, we are all given Srimad Bhagavatam perpetually to learn the science of the absolute personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. And thus ends our reading for today. We will continue from text 39 on Friday. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Srila
Jai.
Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Shanta Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Rupa Guru Bhargava Ki Jai. Jai
Jai.
Navadvip Dham, Mayapur Dham, Nishringapali Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath
Jai.
Dham Ki
Jai.
Jai. Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Dhru Ki Jai.
Jai.
Gangamai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Vrindavan
Jai.
Dham Ki Jai.
Jai.
Giri Govardhan, Rupa Govardhan Dham Ki Jai. Sham Kund
Jai.
Bhakti
Jai.
Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi,
Jai.
Bhakti Devi,
Jai.
Vrinda Devi Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yaga Ki Jai. Scientific Sankirtan Yaga Ki Jai. Srimad
Jai.
Bhagavatam Ki Jai.
Jai.
Princeton Bhaktivedanta Institute Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Institute Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math Ki Jai.
Jai.
Our glories to the assembled devotees, our glories to the worldwide devotees, Sama Bhaktiveda Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai
Jai.
Gaur Prapanandi, Hari 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 Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari
Dhanavad
Bol.
Pranams. Hare
श्री
Krishna.
पाद कृष्ण केशव प्रभु की जय
Jai Guru.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
जय